Interesting.
I'm not drinking gin drinker.
Whoa.
Jeez. Tribal Group PLC.
Interesting.
7.8 shares I've got of them, so they're 68 pence a
Tribal.
share. Tribal is a smart educational and tech play sort of space.
Yes.
So what they do is they're a global leader at the moment in student information systems. They provide like things for universities and colleges which give them software, analytics, manage admissions, learning outcomes, all sorts of things. I've got a little question for the week that kind of extrapolates from what I've just said.
Yeah.
What is the main point of universities at all? We've spoken about the sort of demonisation of what they're doing with the costings and everything else, but there is still some value there. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So what are your
I mean-
thoughts there? 'Cause you went to uni.
Yeah, the question kind of is like, would you rather get into 50k debt or risk it all on a business?
And we are into episode 39 of Suits and Sliders season 1.
Here we go.
Here we go. We're putting things back to basics a bit today.
We are.
aren't we?
This is like a heavily debated topic,
It is. It
especially
certainly is.
nowadays.
Yeah, we're talking about whether the uni route or the business route, which one's actually better. There's been some interesting stats that have been posted recently and change in the political system.
There is.
So we're going to get down to the nitty and gritty of it and find out what route is better, or maybe a combination of the pair of them.
Yeah, it's
But before we
interesting.
do, we've got plenty of other segments and bits and bobs. Shall we kick off with our little tradition?
We shall,
See
we
how it
shall.
goes.
This is something we used to do back in our educational days
Yeah.
to hopefully pay off our
Harvey
debt.
College, and it didn't work back then, but it might work now.
Well, we
so,
got a meal deal every now and then.
very true. £1 scratchy, £100,000 up for grabs. Did I win? I didn't win. I'm not even going to waste anyone's time. That's a loser, I'm afraid to say. They didn't even give me a lucky £1 or a £2 in there for hope.
Oh,
It was just
mate.
big numbers all the way through.
Well, I got
No, you didn't.
a £1,
You did get.
a £2,
Okay.
a £4,
Those are three
a
good
£5
starts.
as well.
Oh, okay, so we're on for some.
Guaranteed winner, right?
Surely.
Got another £5.
Okay.
Then I got 10, 10, 14, 5,000. Can't throw it, man.
It's a
Need to
loser day
practice.
for us. Go on, I believe in you. Go on, get
Is that a
that win.
technique?
I usually have my finger on the top. You're like a flatter.
I'm like that. What,
Yeah,
what do you mean?
I'm like a pinch.
Oh, you throw it
That's
like that?
There, yeah. No. Let's see if it's just the scratchy. No, it's just the scratchy.
Maybe.
Anyway, before we get into our first topic, I think we talk about something that is vitally important: our paid partnership.
Yeah.
BetterHelp.
Even though November's over, it's really important to keep your mental health in check. And that is why we've decided to partner with BetterHelp.
Look, we love talking about growth and the grind and getting freedom from that standard 9 to 5, but it's not going to work if your mental health is not in the right place.
Very true. You've got things like burnout, stress, anxiety. These things will stop you in your track if you don't look after your mental health.
And that's where BetterHelp makes it simple. It's an online therapy platform that you can do from the comfort of your own home, from your phone or your laptop.
All it takes is a quick questionnaire to fill out, and then boom, you're matched with a therapist. And if you don't feel like that fits for you, you can change whenever you like.
We use it ourselves and can highly recommend it. But not just us. On Trustpilot, it's got an amazing score and backed by thousands of excellent reviews.
So hit the link in our bio for 10% off your first month.
You'll be supporting yourself, supporting the grind, and bettering yourself from the inside out. And we're into Spenny or Penny.
Here we go. We have got whiskey and gin for Ollie to try out today. What would you like to start with, my friend?
Well, it's going to get me pissed either way. We'll
Preference
start with
probably
the
gin? Yeah?
Yeah, we'll go with the gin. I prefer
Nice.
whiskey, so I can finish on
Right,
that.
I'm going to pour 2 lovely little shots for you.
Intriguing.
Out.
Because there's so many different gins out nowadays.
there's
You know,
millions.
Top Gear, James May and Hammond have both announced a gin.
Richard Hammond.
Yeah, they both got. They're
Really?
like
Together?
competing in it as
Oh,
well.
against each other?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it is anyway. Yeah, it's quite
This was
amusing.
quite tough to open.
I watched a video with James May and he had like one of his interns working with him and they did like a review of all the alcohols and she mistook his one for for Richard Hammond's one and he was like, I'm going to fire you after this.
That's quite good. All right, my friend.
Oh,
I've
here we
got
go.
2 here. I'm going to hand you one to start with.
Okie dokie.
There you go.
Ooh, using the Suits and Sliders shot glasses,
We
I
are,
hope.
as you can see. If you want one down below, let us know.
Okay.
What are you smelling?
It's not heavily strong, which might be an indication that it's the cheaper of the two, but let's have a little try.
Interesting.
I'm not a gin
Whoa.
drinker. Jeez. It's difficult because I don't drink gin that often. It was nice,
But
actually.
also doing it straight is just
Granted.
weird. I can't lie.
Yeah, it actually tasted quite
Yeah,
nice. I'm not gonna lie.
You liked it?
It wasn't that
Good?
bad. It wasn't like too heavy on the alcohol. You know when it's so like poisoning, you're just like, jeez.
So you said initially you think it's cheap because of the smell.
Yes,
What
but
you
in
thinking
the taste,
now?
actually, I think it's smoother. So I'd say it's more expensive now, but I'm gonna have to give the comparable.
Here's the other one coming in.
Here we go. Right.
There's a little bit more in this one. Not
Okay.
not majorly.
Lesser smell, actually, surprisingly so. So maybe
Okay.
it's just gin's not a particularly strong smelling alcohol. Ooh, interesting.
Ooh, what are we thinking then, my friend? You can take
Honestly,
off your blindfold if you want to.
I would say the second one wasn't as smooth, so I would say that the first is more expensive.
The first more expensive.
I'm gonna guess. Yeah.
Okay, so the first one you tried was Conquer Gin
Okay, fair
from
enough.
Dorset.
Okay, so I assume I might be right there. I'm not sure. It's a lovely bottle, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Wowza.
It's a nice little bottle. And then the other one you
nice.
tried was the Tanqueray Gin.
I see.
So,
Tanqueray.
if you want to go off pricing, my friend, how much do you think each of these will set you back? Start with the Conquer.
Am I guessing if they were the same size bottle?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So the Conquer.
So 70
70
CL.
centilitres. I will go for the Conquer's bit. I'm not a big gin drinker, so I'm not too sure. I would go stab in the dark. Let's say 25
Okay.
in the ballpark.
£37. So you were right. It is the
It is
most
the more
expensive one out of the two.
Do you know what? Credit where credit's
Yeah.
due. It was quite nice.
Oh, yeah. But it's quite a smaller brand, so probably niche in terms of they can get away with it because it's
Probably requires
homemade
the
and
higher
stuff like
pricing.
that.
Yeah.
Whereas Tanqueray, obviously, all over the shop. So
Massive,
what do you
yeah.
think they're at for it? The same size bottle?
Do you know what? Then I would say they're about 25. I'd say they're going to be
yeah.
down by about another 20%.
About $21.95
Oh, wow,
is
even
probably
cheaper than
average
that.
retail price out there.
Not
So yeah,
bad.
not too bad. Revenue-wise, right? So
Yeah.
we start with Conquer.
Okay.
So obviously they're a private listed company.
Yeah.
However, we have managed to find their net assets worth.
Interesting. Okay, assets.
Yes.
Well, that's going to include obviously sort of their location-based stuff, all their staffing costs and things. I'm going to take. It's going to be a hard one, assets-wise. I'm going to pitch for a 6 million because I don't really know them. So I'm going to say 6 million. I don't think they're going to be that big.
Bear in mind, I have not been able to find any stats because they are a private listed company, so they are relatively small.
Okay,
in
so
that
I'm
aspect.
way off. Am I?
Yeah, you want to come down a little
So
bit.
maybe like around like the 200,000.
Yeah, about 440.
Okay, cool.
Okay, is what we're looking at. But if they're selling a lot of bottles at £37,
Yeah.
like their revenue could be quite high.
Yeah, my whole thought process when it came to assets is they're going to have distilleries, aren't they? And
Yeah,
location-based
yeah.
stuff. And if they have ownership over those distilleries, which I assume they don't, if they're only at a 440,000 market asset.
They probably do have a building of some sorts.
Yeah,
440 is kind of like a building site, so
Yeah,
they might have
true.
one.
Maybe one.
sticking
Yeah,
around.
fair
but yeah.
enough. Interesting.
And then we go on to Tanqueray, right? So
they
Tanqueray
much
are
bigger.
owned by Diego.
Diego.
Which is a huge spirit
Alcohol
company.
one,
We've
yeah.
spoken about them before.
Yeah, I recognise
So if we're going off their revenue,
Diego's, okay.
what do you think it is?
I mean, I don't actually know what brands they oversight, but I'm going to say
Oh, they
they've got
do,
some
like,
big names in there
The
because
big,
we've heard
big
about
dogs.
them before.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Diego's annual revenue, is it?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to say annual revenue, we're pitching for a 300 mil.
300 mil.
Yeah?
20 billion, my friend.
20
They
billion.
are huge. They own
Holy
the big,
cow.
big brands. We spoke about them before.
Wow.
They're massive. But in terms of Tanqueray themselves, they apparently, in 2016, this is the only data I could find, 3 million 9-litre cases were sold, which is
Wow.
nuts.
9-litre cases as well. That's a lot of gin.
3 million of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I thought you were going to say 3 million bottles, but
No,
3 million
9
9-litre
litres.
cases.
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
the 9-litre, you're going to have at least sort
Nuts,
of, what,
mate.
20 bottles or something crazy.
Crazy, bro.
Probably more than that. I see. Right,
We'll get that blindfold back on. We'll go whiskies now.
Whiskies. Here we go.
This should be a bit more of your forte.
It is a bit more of my forte, but I haven't had it in a while, so we shall see.
Well, I mean, we do one every...
I mean, like I haven't tried many different
Yeah,
whiskies
yeah,
in a
yeah.
while, so it's going to be harder to know the
So as you can
distinctions.
see, we have these two here. Ollie has seen them, but hopefully he doesn't remember them.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be hard to still distinguish the taste, I assume. Interesting. But I mean, both of these markets, they've got some bottles in there. Obviously, we're doing Spenny and Penny today with what we've got, but some of these gins and whiskies out there go for hundreds and even thousands of pounds.
Crazy,
It's
mate. Do you remember we did
bizarre.
our whiskey distillery and some of those bottles go crazy,
so
man.
funny.
Here you
so
go.
Funny. All right, here we go.
First one is there.
Right.
Slightly overboard.
You're really trying to get me drunk.
I didn't mean to. It came
I
out
love that
really
this is the
quick.
beginning of the episode. That was a great idea from us, isn't it? Right, it smells nice.
Smells nice, yeah?
It smells familiar as well.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I think you tried both of these before, so
That's very nice.
very
Wow,
nice.
that's a very nice whiskey.
Interesting. Ready for the other
Yeah,
one,
no
or
big
anything
kick
else?
to that. I'm going to say, if I was to estimate, I would say that's the more expensive,
Okay.
just from tasting cheaper whiskies in the past. But I might be wrong. Let's have a little taste.
Here's your other one coming in.
Right. Glad I won't get out of the seat very quick, I tell you that. Less of a smell.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Oh. Yeah, that was a bit more potent, that one.
Potent, okay. Bit more
Jeez.
fiery, is
A
it?
bit more fiery. I would say it's not been sort of malted in the way that some whiskies are. So, yeah, I'm going to say
Interesting.
that one's the cheaper of the two.
Okay.
All right.
Well, you are bang on, my friends. The first one you tried was Proper 12.
That's a lovely
And the
whiskey.
second one was Jack Daniels.
I see.
Quite good staples in the whiskey world right now,
Yeah,
both
yeah,
of them, you
definitely.
know.
One thing I will say about the Proper 12 is I love this way that they've got the bottle, like the
Bottle's
cork is-
proper.
That's just
That's
awesome.
so cool, man.
It's honestly,
And I like the
think that
green.
More whiskey.
I like the green.
Yeah, it's very cool. More whiskey companies should get more creative, I think, with their bottles. Jack Daniels is a
Yeah.
definitive look. They've got a great
Oh,
one as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
But so many are now just falling into the same sort of familiarity.
They do. They
It's
seem to
surprising
copy
how
one
many
another.
like whiskey companies or whatever, they changed the look of the packaging and it gives it like more definitive. Like
Yeah.
for Grey Goose with the vodka,
Yeah.
it stands out
Yeah.
so beautifully. I think more
Same as
people need to get on that with the
AAU
marketing.
as well, vodka.
Exactly.
They've got a
Yeah.
special one. Right, so we start with JD,
JD.
the cheaper of the two.
Yeah, it's gonna be
How
a big
much you think a
market, though.
bottle's going? I've got a range because
How many
like,
bottles, or-
Retail. No. How much you think a bottle
a
will
bottle
go
goes
for?
I think a bottle of JD at the moment is going £20, I'd say.
20 to 28.
Yeah, okay. In
So,
that
yeah.
ballpark, yeah.
£20 pretty bang on, so I'll give it to you.
Maybe
They are
like a Tesco
owned
special.
by with Club Card. They're owned by Brown Forman Corporation.
Oh, okay, it's not the same brand. That's surprising.
So, what do you think their revenue was in
It's gonna
2025?
be big. Jack Daniels is a huge brand. 2025 revenue.
I'm talking like Brown Forman, by the way.
Oh, so it's even bigger probably than what I would assume just from Jack Daniels independently. Well, once you said what you said about the gins, I'm going to say whiskey's a big market. Let's go 2.5 billion.
Pretty close.
Yeah?
4 billion.
Oh, I was close.
Jack Daniels being the main kind of
Yeah, the
brand that they
contributor.
hold.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
a lot of the other brands aren't too well known, but Jack Daniels is the big bad boy.
See.
Next up, we've got Proper 12.
Fairly new brand.
Yeah, they haven't been
especially
around
compared
for
to
too long.
JD, but do you know that though it's similar to the Prime marketing sense of things?
Hmm.
Obviously, it's Conor McGregor's brand, so it's going to have some heat behind it. Their revenue, I would say, this year, you're going to be pulling in...
No, we're looking at bottle price first.
Oh,
my friend.
sorry, bottle
Yeah,
price.
yeah,
Bottle
yeah.
price.
You jumped
I would
ahead of the
say
gun.
I am just a drunk. The bottle price is. I mean, it's gonna be more expensive, isn't it? I'm gonna say 35.
Pretty much bang
Yeah,
on, mate.
am I?
Yeah,
Fair
in between
enough.
the remit of 35 to 50.
Wow, I see.
Some selling a bit cheaper, but
Yeah.
you got to depends on your store really.
I see.
But we do not have revenue stats for these guys because they
No.
are new. However, 49% was sold
Oh, sold.
to Proximo Spirits in 2021.
Oh, the company. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how much do you think they bought 49% of in 2021?
That is a great
which is
question.
Fairly new.
That's
Like they have not
fresh.
been around.
But I think they would have done that because of the assumed hype from the brand. So I think they would have over marketed it like compared to somebody else who was in its infancy. I'm going to say they bought it for. Let's go. I'm going to go crazy a bit. I'm going to say 300 mil.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around
600 million.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
That's
49%
crazy.
stake.
Wow,
That's pretty good. And
That is
Conor
pretty
McGregor
good.
got a nice little payout from that as well.
He did.
But yeah, there we go. There we have it.
See, well,
Bit about
2
whiskey
for
and
2,
some
still
gin
got it
for
right.
you guys.
Very
Yeah.
nice. You'll see me disintegrate now over the next few segments, but let's get back into
I'm
it, shall we?
expecting a few slurs and
Yeah, without a
stutters.
doubt.
Yeah.
And we are back from Spenny or Penny.
You know what? That reminds me of like a little uni do. Bit of whiskey, bit of
100%.
gin. That's exactly what we're getting into.
Do you remember
this
back in the
as
day,
well.
actually, when we did, it was just before the summer ball at Hartbury, and we did beer pong, but we put whiskey in the cups.
Yes,
we were, like, we needed to do
yeah.
catch up because we got to like a rugby game that day or whatever. And mate, I remember you were already in your suit. I was still in my sort of standing
You were
clothes.
like in your pajamas. I'm pretty sure it came out actually recently on our YouTube. The 8 years.
It did. It was on that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of
that.
footage on that.
Yeah, so hey, if you
We did it in the
checked that out-
corridor, didn't we?
Yeah, if you haven't checked that out, go and start checking out the Sunday specials.
Yeah.
Sort of short form content, more gamification stuff, bits and bobs outside of the long podcast.
Was that when I had that trampoline as well that I found?
The trampoline.
Yeah, that's so
yes,
rogue,
it was. Yeah. We picked up a trampoline from a sort of skip, like bin.
Someone was like spinning it, so we just picked it up.
So we picked it up and it became a little Hartbury room edition.
Bouncing
Anyway,
it.
the current UK economy. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the economy as a whole, just so that we can better understand
Here we
the
go.
position we're in. Because I saw something the other day that was pretty surprising. It was posted actually by Help Bank. So they partner with Super Team, Simon Squibb and stuff. So obviously I'm following them. And they posted the S&P 500 has been growing. It'll pop up on the screen now for everybody. It looks like this.
Yeah.
The S&P 500 and total job openings within those corporations over the last 20 years, up to 2023, followed a very similar pattern shape.
Yeah.
It grew year on year. When there was dips in the S&P, there were dips in the job openings. And 2023, ChatGPT hit. And as of then,
AI.
the split has completely divulged. You'll
Yeah,
notice
I've
towards
seen
the
that.
end, the total job openings drop each year on year, as AI develops.
Crazy,
But
mate.
the S&P still continues to perform better than it ever has
Yep.
before, at a rate much faster than it has over the prior 23
Yeah.
years. Point being is, are we in a position now where jobs are becoming more infrequent, or to have a job is becoming more infrequent, especially in the larger corporations, and so it is more of a time to embark on your own business journey? That's kind of what we're delving into today.
Well, yeah, it kind of touches on, is local businesses going to start booming now? Because all of a
potentially.
sudden you've got these big corporations who can afford to invest billions into AI,
Yeah.
which means there's going to be huge efficiency intakes, and that
Massively.
means they can get rid of a load of staff.
Yeah.
That's why you're seeing that, and I think that's just going to keep going.
I mean, we've got friends of ours that are applying for jobs at the moment, and they're realising that for every job
Yeah.
application, there's like 40 other people competing for
Yep.
it, even for the sort of medial level jobs.
Yep.
And so that market's becoming more infrequent. To have to start a business may become people's resort.
Yeah,
So it's
potentially.
interesting. Anyway, it's a quick overview of the UK itself. At the moment, the economy is growing pretty slowly. It's about 1.4% per year in terms of the economic structure of the UK.
Yeah.
Inflation has dropped to 2 or 3%, which actually means that the economy is growing less than inflation for the first time in many years, which is pretty worrying. Living costs are still high, but things are starting to stabilise. They pushed massively since COVID, and now they've started to plateau somewhat. From there, the typical growth used to be 2 to 3% a year in terms of the economy growth. As I've said, now it's closer towards 1%. And that is a massive recovery from COVID. But with everything from the work from home model, a lot of businesses managed to scale back personal costs. So it's fairly uneven, the fact that we're still at a 1.4% growth. Anyway, that could be for all sorts of reasons. In terms of a day-to-day thing, jobs are still available, but there are much less pay jumps than there's ever been before, because things are starting to stabilise and AI is filling a lot of the roles of what higher level management would have done in the past and sort of analytical jobs would have done in the past.
Yeah, and companies also don't have that money if they've struggled during COVID as well.
Exactly that. Prices have leveled, but real spending power is limited for companies as well, because in terms of investing into certain things, they don't always have the liquidity that they had beforehand, because the customer base as a whole is dropping because people's sort of liquid income is less.
But
It has a
also,
massive
as
cycled
this
effect.
S&P 500 grow,
Yeah.
more and more investors into companies that maybe fall out of that S&P 500
Yep.
or are in it are trying to compete with the top dogs within that.
100%.
So as Amazon grows and Microsoft grows, whatever it may be, there's more pressure on these other kind of smaller but massive corporations to keep up with that trend.
There's that other thing. It's like having a monopoly of a market is something that's been highlighted mainly in the
Let me
US
pick up
recently.
little
Oh,
goatee.
the goatee fool, did
Yeah.
he? It's been highlighted in the States recently, especially when it comes to corporations like Amex and PayPal and things like that, and businesses where they own such a large market share that they can just kill off all the competitors by basically reducing their prices. If you have a lemonade stand and somebody across the road sells theirs for £4 less, they go into that stand. It effectively works like that. And it means small businesses have that pressure now where these big corporations are growing. So it's harder to start a business, but it's also less purposeful to get a job.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. I mean, in terms
And that,
of
that leads to like things like the cost containments, all of that stuff. People not getting their
100%.
set pay rises or
Yeah.
bonuses, all of that stuff. All
is
because
bizarre.
of like market share value and whatever.
100%. And in terms of the living side of things, I mean, we could talk about this for probably an entire episode, but I just sort of, to summarise in housing and living sort of sense of things,
bloody
a couple
hell.
of stats. Average house price in the UK is 285,000, but in London and south of the UK, it's £515,000. At the moment, it's currently an average of 12% higher than the national
And you know
average
what's
salary.
crazy, right? A lifetime ISA, which
Yeah.
is what they encourage people to invest in to purchase a house. You can only purchase a house worth 300k stamp duty free. Anything above that, you start paying stamp duty. They're
so
just killing the first
obviously-
time
yeah,
buying market.
They really
mate.
are.
It used to be 425 last year.
And do you want to know what's even worse? The renting side of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a stat here. Manchester, up north, typically better costings. What cost what it does now in 2019 has risen by 50% in 6 years.
It's crazy. It's because they gentrified Manchester a little bit, so
did,
now they're trying to make it a booming city.
It's bizarre.
Which obviously comes with the costs.
Yeah, 1 in 3 up to 30-year-olds still live with their parents.
Yeah,
that is bizarre.
Isn't the average age of living at home like, I want to say it's like 32 or 35?
It's 32.
It's 32.
It's 32.
Oh,
This
bang
is
on, mate.
absolutely insane. And the last time it was at 32 was 1960. That's like 10 years after the war ended, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It's absolutely bizarre. Average full-time salary in this country is now £35,000, but adjusted
Which
for
is
inflation,
nuts.
it's exactly what it was in 2008. It's not risen in terms of cost of
That's
living and inflation
crazy.
and
But
such.
also, like, your house prices have risen.
Yeah.
And your salary
2008 was financial crash as well.
Nuts.
It's like, it's absolutely insane. And since 2020, last stat I've got here is food prices are up 25% since 2020.
You know how you can tell?
Go on.
A Freddo.
Freddo.
Do you remember back in the day?
Yeah.
A Freddo used to cost you 5p. Now I'm pretty sure it's like £1.20 or something.
There's a funny YouTube video out there if you haven't checked it out, which is Freddo's inflation compared to house prices. And apparently, by the year 2500, a Freddo will be more expensive than a house.
Oh God, I can't imagine if that. You know what? It might even be true. I don't even.
Oh,
know
it's
anymore.
mental.
What
It's
is going
absolutely
on
insane.
with
I mean,
the
that's the economy. And the reason why we sort of highlight that is to say to people that not only the job market, but the sort of industry as a whole, because business have to follow what the economy says, are not going to be as safe as people traditionally thought. As that's why it's maybe not the right avenue to go down university and into business. I'm not saying it's the worst idea in the world, but we're going to get more into that as we go on.
Well, tapping into a bit about universities, because there is, I feel like now more than ever, there's a lot more chatter around, is universities worth it?
So true.
You're getting random degrees. Like, I think there's a uni in Cornwall that came up with like a surf degree, right? To get like literally for like surfing and
That's
other
episode 1.
licenses and whatever. But like, you're spending or getting yourself into like 50k of debt for that. And where can you take that outside of surfing? Do you know what I mean? It's nuts.
So true.
I feel like degrees are just popping out of nowhere
Yeah.
for no reason, and unis are just trying to get as much money as they
But
can.
at the same time, the course structure themselves, like they bring in people who aren't even specialists in those fields, just people who follow a syllabus it's kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You get a degree at the end of it, and then that degree sort of loses value when you go to a job because there's no jobs left open for you.
Yeah.
So it's like getting a degree just to give money to the government. That's literally all you're
to
doing.
get yourself in debt.
It's insane.
Well, we've got a few little stats for you,
Go on,
right?
hit me.
So apparently, UK uni enrolment has dropped by 5% in 2025, according
wow.
to UCAS, which is
5% is
interesting.
quite a big market,
It is
that,
quite a big market, yeah. But also, I've got here, only 60% of graduates end up working in their degree field,
Wow.
which is crazy.
60%.
So that's 40%.
I'm
don't.
assuming that's like nothing to do with the degree. So if you worked in anything, let's say in a mathematics degree, you would do something that completely alienated all sense of anything calculation.
Yeah,
wise.
exactly.
That is mental.
Pretty much bang on.
That is so bizarre.
But the worst of it all, probably following like inflation and everything like that, UK tuition fees.
Yeah.
They have been frozen at $9,250 a year
Yeah.
since 2017.
Yeah.
But from 2026, all
Is
the
it changing?
new. Thanks, Siri.
Siri wants to help out.
Yeah, he's chirping up, mate.
He didn't like it either.
So from 2026 is increasing
To what?
3% to £9,535.
They're not getting enough. Jesus
Which is
Christ.
crazy. But predictions have started to estimate that with inflation over the years, they reckon it can rise to about 10,000 to 10.5k a year.
That is mental.
Which is crazy because you think about it, a degree now really isn't worth what it was back then at all. And back then, right, in 1998, they first introduced paid education. Before that, it was all for free. 1998, £1,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah. 2004, £3,000 a year.
Wow. 2004? That's not that long ago.
No. And then in 2012, it jumped to 9k. And then 2017 to 9 point
Can you imagine 2011 and 2012? That must have been a massive kick in the balls for people going to uni.
Big time,
From
hey?
3,000 to 9,000.
Massive. So the average student nowadays, after graduation, they have a debt sitting around 50 to 55k, making it the highest in Europe.
Is it really?
Yeah.
This is what's crazy. I mean, you talk about that 60%. 40% of people are sat with 60k of debt when rentals are at an all-time high, house prices are at an all-time high, jobs are at an all-time low.
And the worst thing about it is they're in that 50k of debt and it doesn't even guarantee a 27k job anymore.
No, exactly.
Like it used to. A degree used to be like, it means something. It shows like it's a good record on your CV and you will go and get a good job and you earn more than that.
Exactly. So if you look at 35k, which is the annual average salary, even if they got the average straight off the bat, which is highly unlikely, the 35k, if you took 20% off of that for tax anyway, so they take 20% off of that for tax, what you're sitting at like 28k, 29k. From there, how on earth are you meant to save 60k?
You've got to pay student debt as well.
That's what I'm saying. So you've got to not only pay your student debt of 29k, but then you've got to buy a house. You've got to, it's insane. Crazy.
It's insane. But like in contrast, right? So you've got US. Apparently the average student debt there is around £31,000. So $40,000. Globally, you've got other countries like Germany, Norway, Denmark. Still offer free education or near free higher education.
Yeah, I spoke to somebody recently who's got their kids in school in Denmark, and they're English born, but they've sent them to Denmark to get free education because they've got like grandparents who are from Denmark.
And then then you speak about business, right? Apparently, so you know you got a 5% reduction in uni. Students actually going to uni. Now you've got business startups registrations are up 15% year on year.
Really?
Mostly among under 25s.
Brilliant.
There we go.
I mean, there we go. People.
Kind of showing a bit of a
what people start to move towards, which is the vitality of this sort of podcast. I mean,
mate.
It speaks to people about what they need to do and the reality of it all.
But question of the week.
One other thing I'll say just before, because you just mentioned Denmark. It was an interesting conversation I had with somebody the other day. In Denmark as well, it's almost like secondary school where you have to turn up. You have like registers and things. In the UK, people spend that 60 grand and they don't fucking turn up.
They're just partying.
They party and they just. I mean, that is a massive like truth to what university should be about. I'm not acting like for a second that shouldn't be.
Crazy.
But at the same time, to pay that money, not turn up, skimp through like a pass or like a 2-1 or whatever. What people seem to like. But I never went to uni, so I'm not too sure what the standard grades are.
You got pass 2-2, 2-1, and first.
Oh, fair enough. But this is the thing in Denmark, in a place where it's free, they have to turn up. The fact that the UK allows people to pay that money and doesn't hold themselves accountable for teaching those people what they've like engaged to teach.
That's probably why our economy is so low at the moment as well.
100%. I mean, I've got a little question for the week that kind of extrapolates from what I've just said.
Yeah.
What is the main point of universities at all? We've spoken about the sort of demonisation of what they're doing with the costings and everything else, but there is still some value there.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts there? Because you went to uni.
Yeah, I went to uni. For me personally, my parents came to the UK and didn't come through like the educational system here. So I had no clue what was out there. And uni provided me that outlook. Like it showed you what opportunities you can have, what careers you can go for, what companies you should apply to. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't know what the hell I'd be doing. Also, I think for most people, 18 to 21 are kind of like your messy years.
That's a really good point.
You don't know what you're doing. You want to be out partying. You've got all your guys around you. You like going out with girls, whatever it may be. I think it provides you a bit of structure. Now, for me, and I know we're a bit of an anomaly here, but we went to Hartbury at 16. That got you out the house at 16. So for a lot of other people, it's getting them out the house, getting them to fight for themselves, live by themselves, and create a career for them. So that, I think, gives you a world of knowledge and understanding and learning that you would not get anywhere else from the inside of the comfort of your own home. So in that aspect, 18 to 21, it gives you structure. it gives you a purpose to go do something and actually live for yourself, because a lot of other people in the UK are very coddled by their family.
So true. Especially with what we said, like people living at home till they're 32 years old. Like not all of those people are going to uni. Some of them have gone to uni and then they come back home. I mean, I've looked into it, a very similar perspective. My main point was the discovery of independence for yourself.
100%.
We, as you said, had the fortunate case. I didn't go to uni. I gained a lot of my independence from Hartbury, living away from home, making sure that even though we had the meals provided for us by the caterers and all that sort of stuff, you still had to take care of yourself, making sure that you were responsible for waking up every day, turning up to school,
brushing your teeth, doing all that basic stuff, but it's stuff that people don't really do.
And also what comes with that independence is the development of friendship.
Yeah.
Like, I will say without a doubt, people leave school, they go to A-levels and they still have a sort of school formality of things. We didn't have that. But to then go to university, live there, and I mean, this speaks it better than ever. You and me do this podcast together. Like, we grew a friendship by living together.
Precisely,
that is stronger than like literally anything.
Exactly, yeah.
And like I've got that also with other people that I've known for many years. But Cal Barrett, another one who's shared our time at college with. People that you know are friends for a lifetime.
But also people you would never meet if you didn't go there.
Exactly.
Because it's outside your bubble. Yeah. Your bubble, wherever you live, is your little town, your county.
Yeah.
Going and exploring the UK as well is like part of it.
Yeah, meeting like people from overseas.
Me going
as well.
to meeting you, who's in the southwest, going to Cal, who's like down
Proper
West
down
Country.
West
Yeah.
Country, yeah.
Do you know, and people from up north, all
So
over
true,
the shop.
so,
Like
so
I would
true.
never meet people from Leeds and all of those lot. Like if I didn't go to uni and stuff
Entirely.
like that.
And that gives you a great sense of not only understanding more about the British culture as a whole, but also just the better sort of communication with people, which is what is vital for working into the
communication, networking, finding people you align with, also getting mentors and stuff like that as well. That is what education in a nutshell can provide you, because it's all under one umbrella.
That's so true. And my last point, which is also kind of the real kicker when it comes to having an education from university nowadays, is nowadays there are a certain, let's say there's 40 applicants for every job. There's somewhere crazy, like between 30 and 40% applicants for every single job out there.
It's crazy.
And I know from working in recruitment for a brief time during COVID myself, there is a cull system that occurs between people applying for a job and getting a job. And if you're out there and you're applying for a job and you go, why is nobody replying? One of the things could be the fact that your education doesn't fit the benchmark for them to even consider you, which is sickening, because people have talents way beyond what their educational status provide.
But it's a stamp.
Exactly.
And if you don't fall within that, so a lot of people, like you're saying, if you don't have a uni degree, you are axed from X amount of jobs already instantly in the market. But also, to flip it, if you do have a uni degree, but you didn't try hard enough, and you have a 2-2, suddenly you're axed from as well as the other person didn't go to uni. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. So it's a weird sort of threshold that can either put you into a job or kick you out of a job. But it is vital nowadays for most education. People are not desperate to have people who are uni educated, but they seem to take that as a metric of a valued person or an unvalued person. So unless you've really got like a system to work into the career that you want, a degree could be the difference in you getting the position that you want.
It's like it's a 50-50, because if you have the work experience and you've got the proven understanding and knowledge within that whatever industry you want to get into, that could outweigh a degree. But you have to find that, and to get that, you most likely do need a degree to get your foot in the door, unless you have contacts or go down a different route that allow you to do so, which is tough within itself.
So true.
Especially if you're a first generation person going through the UK system.
That's another thing.
You wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo, would you?
That's so true. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about some
we could talk
uni
about
dropout
this.
stories.
We're going to talk a lot about
because we're getting
this
into workplace stories now, which tells you a little bit more about the juicy big boys that have come out of education.
Let's do it.
Let's go. And we're into workplace stories.
Let's go! So we are going to talk about uni/college dropouts and either their successes or failures.
True. I've got some of the big kickers. You've got some of the funny stories.
Yeah, I've found some funny ones, mate.
Yeah. I'm going to kick us off with the biggest sort of success story that probably has come from it.
Go on.
Do you want to guess who it is?
Steve Jobs.
Oh, he's been in the list, but I've actually considered
Not
the
the top dog. Fair.
I've actually gone for Bill Gates as
Bill
the top
Gates.
dog.
That was my
So
other
the
one.
Harvard dropout who saw the future. Bill Gates was that kid who aced everything, got into Harvard, got into like the alumni of Harvard as well. He was like one of the on tracks to be part of like the biggest alumni there.
Yeah.
Then promptly spent most of his time hacking the computers in a lab there. Right, he was notably dropped out because he was chasing a wild idea with a childhood friend, a guy named Paul Allen, who's also gone on to make great things. So every home he was given this idea that he could kind of make like a free network that didn't exist at the time, which ended up becoming the birthplace of Microsoft. He turned 30, Gates was a millionaire running a global empire, and the kicker, he ended up becoming richer than Harvard itself by 35. How
not surprised,
crazy is
mate.
that? 35 years old.
But you get
and
those
being richer than Harvard.
You get geniuses. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like an education wouldn't do anything for them. They'd ace it in an instant.
Exactly.
They
It's
can
almost
just
like a
go
place
on
that
and
like barriers them.
Yeah, it's like a little hurdle, or
Cages
like a
the
little
animal.
stuck in the mud. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit for like a year or two.
So true, so true.
So true. Right. Well, mine's slightly different.
Go for it.
It's got the gambler.
Oh, yeah.
There was this lad on my course who dropped out halfway through second year, not
Okay.
because of stress or grades, but because he got addicted to online poker.
Oh, shit.
It started as just a fiver between lectures. Next thing you know, he was skipping seminars to play Texas Hold'em on 3 screens.
On 3 screens.
Like this, bro, in the room.
Jeez.
He called it financial strategy training when people asked.
Texas Hold'em.
One night,
Strategy.
he wins big. He wins £2,000 on a bluff.
Wow.
Full table. And he's like on top of the world. This guy's like, I have made it. I'm official gambler. I'm gonna be a poker boy.
Before that, though, yeah.
So what does he try to do? He tries to repeat it with his rent money.
No.
Loses everything. The next month, he was scraping around to get money. So he was like working these little coffee jobs, hairdresser, whatever he could,
Oh, bless
just to
him.
get money to pay the next month off
Yeah.
in terms of rent. He decided to drop out as he couldn't attend lectures due to trying to make money for rent.
Wow.
He dropped out after that month, and I've never seen him since.
Shit. Scratch cards, right, let me tell you. It's a contained habit. It's going to be
you
good
got
in
to
the
be
long
careful
term.
going down that poker route.
My next one, I'll go for the other Harvard giant, actually. Mark Zuckerberg,
Ooh.
the dorm room billionaire. Zuckerberg actually started Facebook as a side project while in his dorm at Harvard.
Which is so sick.
It was meant to connect the classmates to one another, which kind of came off the back of a little like parody dating.
Yeah, it was
app,
supposed to be like some
you and
dating
girl sort of
thing,
thing.
yeah.
That was where it really started. Within weeks, the servers crashed.
Which is
because it went
hilarious, by the
Viral
way.
across
Yeah.
campus. He dropped out to focus on it full time 6 months into being at Harvard, and by 23, he was the youngest self-made billionaire in history.
Crazy.
2 years younger than us, bro, and he's
So
pulling in
crazy,
billions.
man.
Now
That's
Meta
actually
is shaping the
nuts.
future of social media, virtual worlds, all from one student's code and a hunch about connection, which is so true.
Yeah.
Like the whole concept of Facebook, it makes a lot of sense after the fact, but before it, to understand that was where the world was going, because you could just see all these little platforms popping up, genius stuff from him.
Very
Really,
clever.
really smart.
But like, he almost like had a little test lab, which
Yeah.
was his uni,
Exactly.
to see if it works, see if people loved it.
Perfect market research. Yeah.
And brilliant for it to crash there and then rather than later on when he expanded.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Very, very clever.
Very.
Right. Nottingham Trent.
Okay, yeah.
Quite a close uni. Some
Yeah,
people might know about
closer to
it.
home.
Dropped out twice from Nottingham Trent, 98
Twice.
and 99.
Okay.
Spent 5 years temping and doing
Yeah.
data input jobs.
Okay.
One night, when clubbing, I imagined a simple templated email design or system. He learned how to program from scratch in his PHP as he built over the next few weeks this platform.
I see.
It launched. Bugs and security holes as well, apparently, within it. So he worked 27 for 8 years and grew to 100 staff worldwide. Sold it
Jeez.
for 15 million, retired at 37.
Wow.
No regrets.
Well,
All
this is the
because he went
thing.
out clubbing, though. But I'd argue if he didn't go uni and he wasn't at that club, he wouldn't have that thought.
It's a fair point. I mean, I've watched some of those School of Hard Knocks videos recently.
Yeah.
Like, great guy out there for sort of short form business content. And the amount of people there who say they started at uni, it gave them the idea, and then they went to the business. It sort of actually proves that the uni had validation in
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
place. Because they were sat at home twiddling their thumbs, playing Xbox and doing fuck all else, they wouldn't have had that sort of motivation to go for the business.
Precisely.
Right, my next one. Coco Chanel, the designer who rebuilt herself from nothing. Coco Chanel grew up in an orphanage, left school early, and started sewing for a living after guidance from the person who ran her orphanage. She turned into a minimalist fashion sort of revolution by creating these sort of singular pieces that then got sold for one of one pieces, and ditching corsets for comfort, which was apparently like the main thing at her height of a fashion,
Okay.
and decided to invent the little black dress. And this is what basically birthed
Blew
Chanel.
up, yeah.
Because this whole like iconic black look is basically what Chanel's all about.
Yeah.
Chanel now remains one of the most valuable luxury labels on the planet. She didn't just
Insane.
drop out from school. She dropped into an industry and changed it
Insane.
forever. That little black dress concept apparently was something that she got from a friend of hers who did go to school. Yeah.
I find like stitching, creating materials like baffling to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you start? Where do you start?
If
And
you
how
ask
do
me
you
to make-
design it at the
yeah.
same time? Like, I'm not
Literally.
making anything like this, mate.
Bizarre.
It'd be an absolute butch job,
It would
mate.
be absolute
I tried.
crap.
So I had a Hartbury top,
Oh, yeah.
a nice little sport top. Wanted to make a vest. Decided to get some scissors. Things like completely botched.
One sleeve I was like,
All
up
I did
here,
was
one
just
of them's
try cut a
down
little.
here.
I tried to cut the seam, and I was just messed up, mate. I'm like, I could not create anything like that for
That's
the
so
life
funny.
of me.
I
I think
see.
that's absolutely insane.
I
Some
mean, yeah,
skill.
Credit where it's due.
Right, the Dropout awakening.
Okay.
Here we go. So, I dropped out of uni in my second year of a 4-year business degree.
Mm-hmm.
Proper mid-tier uni, doing a course I didn't care about. But thought, you know what? I'll go for the student life experience, which is what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I only went there because I had no idea what I wanted to do. Figured a degree's better than no degree, right? First year was fun, had my mates from back home around, and coasted with about 60% grades without trying. Then COVID hit, and honestly, that was judgment day for me.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I'm sat at home, paying rent for a student house I couldn't even live in, staring at Zoom lectures about business management, asking myself deep questions like,
Yeah.
what am I doing with my life? I had a full existential crisis. I started thinking, even if I graduate, I'll be competing with UCL students, Russell Group grads.
another thing, yeah.
What chance do I have with this generic degree?
Yeah.
The only thing keeping me going was the Euros, the football.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's when I realised I couldn't do this for another 2 years. So I got proper obsessed with finding a plan. Spent hours reading Reddit threads and student room posts. I've done this before as well.
Yeah.
Typing in stuff like jobs that aren't boring but still pay decent.
We will win there.
Then I stumbled on quantity surveying. Sounded fancy, had a bit of a law
money
and a
there.
bit of a construction, some finance.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, that's got potential. Applied for like 25 apprenticeships, got ghosted by most, but finally landed one with a big contractor. Now I work full time, study 1 week a month, and the company even pays for my car. Buzzing.
That is class.
Basically, moral of the story is dropping out isn't always a failure.
Yeah.
As long as you do and put the effort in to
Find
go
yourself a
find
backup
something
plan.
else.
Yeah.
This guy did that. He applied for like 25 apprentice schemes.
Yeah.
Looking for something.
We're definitely going to get onto a little bit more about the grey area in the later stage of this episode, actually in the Patreon.
Yeah.
So if you want to check that out, people, you'll have to head
100%.
over there. £4 a month, 13
Also,
a
I
day.
think something he said that was really nice was he was like, if your mates graduate before you, so what?
Yeah,
It
that's
doesn't
good.
matter. You're on
Yeah.
your own timeline. You still live the uni life, met some great people, and learned more about yourself than you ever would in a lecture.
So true.
So you got to remember that. Always look at the positives, no matter what situation you're in.
Yeah.
And it is your own life, your own timeline. Don't compete with other people.
Exactly. And I got one more story about a big dog that's kind of done that same thing. Is the 2-time dropout who built a tech giant, Mr. Larry Ellison. Dropped out of college twice. He didn't have money or a clear plan. He had an obsession with how computers store data. Obviously, a lot of people in that sort of early stage thought tech was the space. Maybe nowadays it's AI. You never know. It could be something else like that. But in 1977, he built a company called Oracle in a tiny little office, selling database softwares to companies that didn't yet understand why they needed it. And by the end of the 90s, Oracle was running half of the world's business systems.
It's coming on a lot of heat now, Oracle.
Is it?
Yeah,
What for?
loads. For the monopoly kind of thing, and
Oh,
also
really?
having control over certain political.
I mean, it makes
things.
sense. I mean, yeah, it says now Ellison became one of the billionaires who sails yachts, flies jets, calls it research nowadays. But all in all, he became the richest man in the world this year for a short period of time. I don't know if he still is
Crazy.
now, but it shows that, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Oracle are behind the kind of new digital ID thing.
Oh, in the UK?
Yeah, which is also, I think, why he's getting heat.
Oh, well, I don't like him at all then.
No, but he's done very well
Fair
for
enough,
himself.
fair
Fair
enough.
play. Right. Legend or criminal? You can decide, okay?
Oh, here we go.
And I feel like we know someone like this as well, which is really bad.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So this guy in my old flat, absolute legend or criminal?
Yeah.
Dun, 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 depending on how you look at it.
True.
Took out his full student loan for the year, like $9,000 tuition fee and a few grand in maintenance.
Oh, wow.
Instead of going to lectures, he goes straight to the airport. books a one-way ticket to Thailand, and he said to his mates he's studying abroad spiritually.
Spiritually. Oh my God.
We all thought he was joking until he started sending photos of himself doing Muay Thai on the beach, all of that stuff. He even put captions, apparently, economics of inner peace at the beach and stuff like that to his mates on Snapchat.
So cringe. That is actually
Turns
funny
out
as fuck.
he used his tuition fee loan and the 6 months, and he spent it on 6 months of travelling, sorry.
Wow.
He came back with a tan, a tattoo, and 0 qualifications, but says it was the best thing he ever did. Apparently, the uni then started looking for him, and he left again, fled the country, and no one knows where he is. They reckon he's probably in like Bali or something like that, dodging emails from
Bloody
student
hell.
loan.
Interesting.
We do know someone like that, though, don't we?
Definitely do.
That's crazy as well.
Right, well, we are going to get back into the episode a little bit more now and talk to you about the benefits of the uni side of things and the business side of things.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So, university.
Yes.
Right? It isn't just about getting a degree, in my opinion. It's kind of like a 3-year crash course at life.
Yeah.
So I've got a little bit about the uni journey.
Go on.
So usually at 18, you're learning how to think for yourself, live more independently, as we kind of touched upon before, manage life without that supervision of your parents. Uni does force that structure and almost discipline amongst the chaos. My light's turned off. That's so sad.
Don't worry, we'll get it back for the
Anyway,
next segment.
and then when it gets to like the 19 to 20, you start figuring out who you are in a way, what you might be good at.
Yeah.
Also, who inspires you as well. So you start to find your
That's a really
mentors,
good
your role models, especially on the internet nowadays.
Yeah.
You can find them everywhere. But like most passions start from the people you meet and the modules you begin to take. And then from that, you start to pick out what you really do like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
By 21, you should be leaving with some sort of knowledge, but also a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And that is very, very common. The uncertainty is huge because the real world doesn't care about your essays, your assignments, or anything like that. It cares if you're making the business money or putting some sort of output to the business.
Definitely.
But uni does give you that framework, and then the business gives you that freedom. So why people still actually go to uni? Obviously, it develops your critical thinking, communication, networking, all of that stuff.
Grows that discipline as well for turning up every day and doing the work. And I mean, not that people do that as often anymore, but like it does give you that kind of restriction of going, especially when you've got a deadline for certain assignments and things. You've got to sit there and do the work.
Yeah,
like,
you
there's
do.
no other
Yeah.
option.
That's very true. The deadline aspect is a huge thing as well because you've got to work to strict, tight deadlines that you need to fulfill. But apparently, right, I've got a few more stats as well. Graduates obviously nowadays face a very oversaturated job market. So when you do leave university, the next stage of journey is applying for jobs.
Yeah.
Now, as you mentioned, one job for every 40 applicants
It is 40.
is what The Guardian wrote in 2025.
That's insane.
And the filter, as we mentioned there, is a lot of people get barred if you haven't got a 2-1. So if you are ending up with a pass or a 2-2, or even if you fail, unfortunately, you've just racked up a load of debt.
That's all you've done,
Which you can...
Nobody teaches you that as well.
No,
Nobody teaches you
I know,
that if you
it's
do
scary,
this, you're going to be like scuffed.
But unis don't mind because they get the money from you.
They've
So
got no liability to do so.
Also here, I've got another stat. 70% of graduates eventually find a full-time job, which is quite a high stat. So
Only
that's quite
70?
a good... 70 is a high stat.
But that means 30% of graduates don't run a full-time job.
Or they leave and stuff like that and drop out.
I see.
But then you've got 20%, right, stay in a low-skilled role for 3 years, which isn't ideal. So that's like the coffee shops,
Which also
stuff like that.
That student loan's just gaining interest year on year.
Precisely. So that is kind of like the uni journey. Now, you've got to weigh it up because obviously, as we've mentioned, if you do get a degree, it does put you in prime position for a lot of jobs.
Yeah,
but
it does.
You do have all the competitors that come with that as well. So you've just got to put in the grind, and once you finish your uni and got your degree, you got to get out there on the job market.
Exactly. Speaking about sort of getting out there, I've looked at it more from the business angle. I didn't go to uni myself, but we've started this business, and a couple of key ingredients before starting a business, the things, if they are sat there and they're listening to this and they're weighing up, God, is uni really worth going to for a few more years, or if they're even looking to go into it at all, what they'll need to have in place if they're going to go down the business entrepreneurial outset. So I've got 5 key ones, because we could speak about this all day. I've got 5 key ones to kick us off. First of all, understanding your own skill set and your passions. We've spoken about this from the off. If you're not passionate about what you're embarking on, you're not going to have that self-discipline to continue with it, because people looked at this from even people doing online courses. The success rate of those online courses are so low because you're not held accountable by an educational board, by a teacher, by an individual, like
deadline.
That. Same thing goes for a business. If you are the owner or you're a co-owner of a business, the discipline it's very low in terms of people keeping you accountable. So you have to keep yourself accountable. So not only understanding your skill set, but finding the passionate side of it.
Which is very tough if you do not know what you want to do. Yes. So if you are almost younger than 18 and you're 16, you're 15 or 17, you got to start thinking, what am I really truly passionate about?
What do I care about?
But that's also ultimately what happened at A-levels for us. It's like, you've done your A-levels, now go pick a degree, which is going to sort you out for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to do.
Exactly. There was fuck all support for getting into that level of things as
well.
I
had
Maybe
no
it's just
clue,
the school that
mate.
we were at, but like I know from a lot of people that they went into university completely blind to know what that was going to give them.
Unless you go to your private schools, but then you need to earn money to do that.
Exactly. It's a sort of self-fulfilling cycle, isn't it? Second up, confidence. And I don't mean this just in yourself. I also mean it's confidence in the industry you're looking to go into. We're very confident about podcasting. We can see the scope within it. We can see the success within it. We can also see many failures within it.
Yeah.
But we've got confidence in the industry as a whole and confidence in our ability to fulfill that place in the industry where we want to fit. So if you're looking to embark on a business journey, for example, you're not going to embark on a business journey in horse and carts nowadays because it's obviously not a journey that's going to work. But if you were looking at self-driving cars, it may be you've got more confidence in that industry as a whole. So that's what I'm trying to mean by that. Next up, your networking, or at least your ability to translate your idea. This is probably the most crucial part of starting a business as a new entrepreneur.
Massive.
Reason being is because when you start a business for the first time, yes, you could go down the avenue like some do where they've got a hand-me-down like Donald Trump of like $1 million from his dad, or people like that have had the money just drop down to them. Do you see what I mean? But in reality, for most small businesses that are starting in the UK, you have to find investors. This is exactly what we did and what we translated to other people. You will not be able to find those people or communicate with those people if you haven't got those translational skills or the networking skills in your back pocket. Yep. And this comes down to like, one of the ways I saw somebody on social media doing this recently. They said 75 days of embarrassing myself. And every day he'd go and do something else, which basically just was a bit of like a social challenge. So going into a coffee shop and asking somebody if they actually wanted to share the coffee with them, or little things like that. It was really like weird and unorthodox. But he did that for 75 days. So at the end of it, there was no conversation he was scared to have. And that was the best part of it. So he gave himself that ability to communicate on a different level, comfortable with anybody
100%.
or anything.
It's once you get over that fear element, because the fear element stops so many people from doing things. Exactly. But when you realise people actually don't care, it's like the gym. When you go to the gym for the first time, you're always really nervous and stuff like that. But once you get in there, and many people will tell you, no one's looking at you, no one cares what you do at all. Like once you get over that fear, suddenly the world's your oyster.
Yeah. The only time I can say that doesn't count is when I was at Hartbury once and they were doing a tour for people walking around the gym for new starters, and I was doing box jumps. I jumped, I missed the box, I bashed my head into the box and fell to the side. And I looked up and they were doing a tour of all these
but it probably makes them feel comfortable.
And I was like,
though.
oh, you fucker.
But they're all in there going, oh, that guy's made a fool of himself. I'm fine
and
now.
The thing is, like, I don't think you were in there at the time, but I remember Sam Matthews being in there laughing his fucking arse off at me. But like, and the thing is, that's the only time where somebody's going to look at you, and that's a pretty drastic thing to happen.
And then what? Like a minute later, no one cares again.
A minute later, no one gives a shit. Like, and again, like that's the thing. My fourth point is clear USP and understanding the value fit of that. If you've got an idea, and this follows from a lot of like Simon Script journalists, people going, what's your dream? And you'll have a bunch of people say the exact same thing. Oh, I've got an idea to make a clothing brand. Or I've got an idea to set up a content creation platform. They haven't found their USP yet. So that's the part between having a dream and a passion and finding a business idea.
You got to flush it out.
Exactly.
Sure.
This comes from a lot of market research. Many startups fail because they don't solve a real world problem. Statistics show that 42% of the failures of startup business, so whatever that collection is, occur due to no market need. So they start a business that actually isn't required. So do the work early doors to understand where you fit within your industry.
I think one thing to point out is they're both risky, right? Because I've got another stat here. 1 in 5 businesses in the UK don't make it past 3 years. Yeah. But then you could go to the uni and not get a degree, and suddenly you've got 50k of debt. And
you don't get a job for how many years? Because you just said
precisely,
3 years and
precisely. So you've got to weigh it up because there's a risk with everything. But as long as you're passionate about something, you can go for it. And Ollie did mention that you need investors and stuff like that, but that's not all the time. You can save up, earn some money, give it a shot, and see how it goes.
So true. The final point out of my sort of ingredients plan is time management for yourself. And I mean this in the sense of, if you are starting on a business journey, this is what we preach. We've got a job, and it doesn't matter whether it's a well-paid job or sort of a standard average job. You've got to work out what time you can contribute towards a business, because building a business is not easy. It takes it takes the work of a full-time employee,
is
basically,
a full-time
in terms of hours.
You have to, yeah.
So you've got to realise what can you offer, and then that is the scale that you work to. You don't work on a scale going, I'm going to develop the next Facebook, if you're working as a barista on the weekends. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's just not going to work like that. So you need to find out how you can be honest with yourself to go, what time can I offer? How can I keep myself in the best form possible through like exercising and eating well and sleeping well where you can, and then working out where the business works. If you get those 5 things down to at least a strong, purposeful value for yourself, like get it listed down, write it down, figure it out in your own head, then you're in a really good position to embark on a business.
Because I mean, ultimately, like looking back on us, if we knew what we knew now at 16, 17, my God, we'd be flying by our age now.
Exactly.
But we did take some growing up, and ultimately, if you feel like you've already done that growing up and you can go for it by all means.
I think people are having to become more mature earlier on nowadays, because of the fact that debts are so prevalent, because of the fact that people are more
housing market, everything
housing
like
market,
that.
rental market.
You've got to try get out the rat race if you can, or try get out your parents' home in the first place. That's the first step.
I think coming out of COVID, there was a lot of like social divide as well. So people do feel more isolated, and so they've got to fend for themselves, basically. Like people did have the fortune case in the past of kind of just swimming along and not really needing to kind of lay too much on their own laurels because the job market was still there. But we've shown earlier it's not anymore.
Precisely. And I mean, especially nowadays, I mean, we always talk about it. If we're going to get into the future, AI is here and now. Like, utilize that as much as you can. If we had that 16, 17, like, we'd be addicted to that thing.
100%. I mean, it shows a picture for the next 10 years.
And I mean, I think that's kind of, like you said, leading to education. The future of education is probably going to go down that route.
I mean, there was an announcement recently by the Keir Starmer, the Labour Party, towards the future of education. A couple of main things that kind of came out of that. First of all, they are looking to introduce a financial inclusion system into not only primary education, but secondary.
Which, oh my God, why is it taking them 25 years to think of this?
I mean, it's not like people have been screaming at them for many years to get it done. But basically, they are embedding...
It's crazy.
I mean, we don't quite know the full outline of this yet. They could be saying it and they're not really fulfilling it, because you know the sort of hysteria behind why they don't teach people money skills. But anyway, point being is they're bringing in this thing to expand high-quality money guidance on people, stuff about savings, stuff about credit cards. That's what they've listed. I don't know if it's going to ever peel into the sense of starting your own business, because I feel like that's too risky for a government to put in a curriculum. But we'll see. There's like a financial literacy statutory requirement in the primary schools, which, as I said, will strengthen then into secondary schools, and people will look to specialise in it potentially as a GCSE in certain institutions. And specifically, from 2028, primary pupils will be taught basics of money management and partly of citizenship, and secondary pupils will have a more advanced budgeting, interest and fraud awareness course, which are all really good.
Sounds good on paper.
It does sound good on paper. Whether it comes to fruition or not,
if it executes well, we'll see, won't we? That's what I mean. I mean, my question to you would be, would you rather back education that teaches people to work, or tools that teach people to work or build?
Oh, that's a good, because weirdly nowadays, not that it happens everywhere, it probably happens more infrequently than frequently, but a lot of my education in certain courses that I took were CBTs. They were sort of computer-based training. So that's a tool at the end of the day. Somebody who's built a program, and that's what's educated me to learn X, Y, and Z. And then I've gone through quizzes and like online questionnaires to try and figure out how to learn a certain course material, which hasn't come necessarily from a person. So if anything, I think it's becoming more apt to being tool-based, technology-based. But especially certain critical stages of education, primary being the most important one for me, if you do not have a human touch to that to get people to not only understand how to learn, but understand social skills and development and all that sort of stuff, that is where people, you will never... I don't think there's a tool in place that will ever be able to provide that.
I do think, for me, I prefer the people to tools, because ultimately, even at our age now, if a person with X amount of experience and years behind them from a similar industry comes to us and goes, guys, I've done this, and this worked, this didn't work, you should try this, you should do this, that's suddenly 35 years of knowledge we've just experienced in however long we've chatted to someone.
That's a really good point.
And that you can't get from a tool at all. Like someone who's been there and done it in your industry, or whatever you're doing in your workplace, whatever it can be, that is like gold, mate.
It is absolute
That's why
gold.
mentors, I feel, which I believe are some form of teacher, are really, really, really vital.
No, I completely agree. A couple of other little bits I've got in here. There's apparently 14 new technical excellent colleges that are being announced in the next year. Which,
Interesting.
whether they'll be built in the next year is a different story. But definitely they'll have things like advanced manufacturing being built, because manufacturing has taken a massive hit over the last few years. But there'll be schools that are excellent colleges on AI and technology and
Which
things
is
like that
good,
being
which is
announced,
good, because we
which is
need to
brilliant.
learn it. We need to learn it.
Exactly.
My thing is as well, like education for uni in particular,
Yeah.
it's 3-4 years. Why do we stop learning after 21, 22?
That's a good point.
Why can't we drop in and out of it, or
Yeah.
have someone or something to carry us through for
Do
like
you know what's interesting as
a
well?
couple more years?
I spoke to a guy who I work with now, who used to be a head teacher of a school.
Yeah,
And they come from South Africa.
yeah,
And I was talking to them about the education system as a whole. One of the things they were really surprised at is not only the fact that it finishes when it finishes in this country, but where it starts. Apparently, it starts in this country from 4 years old.
4 or 5 years,
But
something
in
like that.
countries like South Africa and
Yeah.
many other places around the world, most other places around the world, it starts at 6.
Yeah.
Because the difference in the sort of brain capacity, I guess you could say in a layman's sense, of a 4-year-old to a 6-year-old, especially when that separation could be from a September to a July or August, like year round, is so drastic that once you're at 6, apparently the level playing field for kids is much more even grounded. At 4, it's still hugely different. So you have these kids
Interesting.
starting school in
Yeah.
England at 4 years old that don't have social skills, don't have like the ability to communicate properly, and you're putting them in the same even playing field as kids who are much more mentally developed than others. So it's really impressive. It's
that's
really
interesting.
surprising that they do that to kids.
Yeah.
And so his take on it was, I changed this education system to start at 6, end at 23. That was his hot take. And I thought
Yeah.
that was quite an interesting one.
Interesting. And also around that age as well, that's when you're supposed to be the most creative. Like you're supposed to be getting out there, just
Yeah.
understanding life, touching
Exactly.
grass, and
Experiencing the
walking
world
around.
a bit,
Yeah.
like playing with kids at a fucking playground
Precisely,
and stuff.
yeah,
and
yeah.
spending time
It's
with your
interesting.
family.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any stats to it, because if you look at like our educational system, we are the best in the world at the moment still.
Really?
Like our degree, if you get a degree in the UK, you can take it around the world. If you
I
get a
see what
degree
you're
in
saying.
South Africa,
Not
you can't
necessarily.
take it around. You're not going to get the same
okay.
job as you would over here
Interesting,
or in
yeah.
America, unless you're at the top of the top, obviously.
That's a good point. It is a really good point. Well, we'll get into a little bit more about that later on in the Patreon section. You know where to go if you want to
Yes.
find that. But we have another segment for you now.
Good old Stocky.
Let's get to see how the financials are doing.
Bash.
Bash. Stocky.
Stocky.
We are in to our latest segment of Stocky, where we get into telling you, lovely people, about how our Stocky and share picks are
Exactly.
going.
If you don't know, we invest £5 into 2 different stocks, so £10 in total.
Exactly.
Do you want to start us off? Or
Yeah, well,
do you want me to
today
go?
marks the investment of £100 into the stocks.
Yes.
So I think,
Well, no, we'll be 110 after today.
Oh, we won 10 after today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking at the securing that I've had so far. I can tell you about the securing I've had so far.
Go on.
So I've updated to 3 stocks today because one of mine
Yeah, you're
never went
behind,
through back in the
weren't
day.
you? Yeah.
So working off the £100 where I was at before today, I am currently, my best winner is still Riot Platforms, which was 143% up on my last Stocky.
Yeah.
Now it's only 97%
I
up.
thought it was going to go up more.
Same. It's been taking a dip over the last few
The
weeks.
stock market's been a bit up and down, mate. Don't worry about
And I
it.
have a feeling it's been a bit down recently because not only have the best winners gone down,
Oh.
but the biggest losers have gone down.
Oh.
So Guerrilla
Wait.
Technology.
What's the top one at?
Oh, sorry, it's at £9.84 now. because it's gone up
£9.84,
97%. Guerrilla Technology has dropped down from 32% negative last time to 42% negative this time.
That's not too bad.
It's not bad for
I
my
was on
worst loser.
70s
Yeah,
before.
exactly. So that's now on £2.87. Overall, over my 20 stocks previous to today at £100 is at £108.38.
Nice.
So 12 of them are up, 8 of them are down. We're sitting kind of mid-tier. 8.3% up.
Decent.
So yeah, I can't complain too much, but I would like some
Very,
like
very
more.
similar to me, my friend.
Really? Because I've been up massively in the
Yeah.
past.
So 12 up, 8 down as well.
Is it really?
So top stock is Nautilus Biotechnology.
Yeah.
This is obviously the penny stock that focuses on like life science analysis.
Yeah.
This is up 124.5%.
That's pretty good.
At one point, it was up 210% when I
Bloody
looked.
hell.
But like, it obviously
Sometimes
came
they have like
crashing
big
down.
leaps.
Like,
yeah.
So yeah, £5 invested. We're up to £11.19 on that.
I see.
Lowest stock is wearable devices. This is
yeah.
down 73.3%
I see.
to £1.33. But as I mentioned, 12 up, 8 down, 100 in, 111 up.
Hey,
So
you've taken
11%
the
up.
lead.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Now for the new ones. I'll kick us off because I've got 3 to get
Go
through.
on.
So my first one, which is kind of a penny stock, is Asahi Glass Co. Now, I actually got recommended this by somebody else. So Asahi...
Not a beer company.
No. So this is so basically what they do is they supply EUV chips for like technology. So basically
It's
like...
spelled the same as the beer company.
It's spelled exactly the same as the beer
So
company.
is it
So I must
in
just be
the
like
same umbrella,
locationally...
potentially, or not?
I don't think so. I think I think the
Okay.
name is like of a location potentially.
Sweet.
Anyway, so what they've done is they create these glass chips, like
Okay.
semiconductor chips,
Yeah.
that then are utilized in so many different like, avenues.
Semiconductor.
They have
chips.
got people in the sort of car industry. They run the Shard in London. They do like
Oh,
their glass
nice.
mirrors and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Like one of the biggest Chinese hotel groups they do.
Oh,
They've got
mad.
They've got Samsung as well. Like they've got some big players underneath their
Decent.
belt. So they, as I said, they advise AI and semiconductor booming rise in like glass materials. They diversify amongst glass, chemicals, and biotech, and they've got quite a high earnings improving over the last few years. Strong dividend growth, and
Decent.
they've also revived Japan's chip market, because Japan's chip market died when China really took off. And they've come back into that space and made it really good. So it was 0.95 shares, so it was £6 a share, I think.
Okay,
so I've
nice.
just got under the market of 1 share.
Cool,
They're
cool.
looking like a pretty good buy at the moment, because these companies that they're sort of bracketing under are all big companies.
Yeah, big company. If they can land a
year on
couple
year.
more, they'll be happy days, mate.
Exactly.
Nice.
So that's my bet there.
That's your top one, yeah?
So that's my top one. Yeah, they were the most expensive buy.
All right. Well, I'll go for my top one. I have gone for Coursera.
Okay.
Speaking on the topic of education,
Yeah.
and AI courses and platforms, all that stuff.
That's a good point.
I've gone for Coursera. They're an online educational platform that work with current educators, organizations, and also institutions.
Okay.
So they recently beat expectations in Q2 in 2025 for their revenue of 187 million, and they're up 10% year on year.
That's pretty good.
They're currently sitting around £8.20. So I got 0.8 shares.
Nice.
But analysts target this price to be around 12 and 11 in the future, like near future.
That'd be pretty good.
So obviously the
60%
position
rise.
of online education, upskilling space, I think it's going to do all right.
Especially with the courses side of things.
Precisely, but it is highly competitive space as well. So that is the kind of risk that comes with that.
It certainly does. Well, I can mention the competitor for you. Tribal Group PLC.
Interesting.
7.8 shares I've got of them, so they're 68 pence a
Tribal.
share. Tribal is a smart educational and tech play sort of space.
Yes.
So what they do is they're a global leader at the moment in student information systems. They provide like things for universities and colleges, which give them software, analytics, manage admissions, learning outcomes, all sorts of things. They've got a really strong presence in the UK, Australia, and now Asia, serving 55 countries now, which is pretty mega. And they're growing a demand for digital transformational education, post-pandemic sort of style of whirling. They've got a really good recurring revenue model, long-term contracts now they've got, and expanding cloud platforms on Tribal Edge, which is like a second facet to their business they've just announced. But with this whole sort of boom in the education market in the UK, and that being one of their big players, I can see them doing quite well.
Well, how
So
much
we'll
you get
see.
for?
So yeah, 68 pence a share. I got 7.8 shares. Their marker is
Nice.
TRB, so yeah, not bad.
Why are they so low? Are
Don't
there any
really
risk
know, to be honest.
or?
I think they're fairly new. They came into the
Okay,
space
cool, cool,
post-COVID, so I
Yeah,
think they're
yeah,
just
yeah.
sort of slowly growing. Really,
Nice,
really.
interesting. Well, my other one, my penny stock,
Go for it.
is Van Ellie.
Okay.
This is sitting around 34p a share, so I
Not
got
bad.
14.7 shares out
Like
of
that.
it. They are a UK based ground engineering and construction service company.
Yeah.
So they handle early crucial stages of big infrastructure and building projects. They do things like foundation and piling work, all the way to rail and highway, even housing and energy infrastructure.
Nice.
Now, the reason why I picked this is because the UK government have been investing heavily into infrastructure, especially for rail upgrades, green energy, and new housing. So Van Ellie directly benefits from these projects. So I'm thinking they're going to get a steady demand coming through over the couple of years.
Sounds good.
However, the risks are dependent on these big projects, obviously. if the hype kind of fails, then their earnings are going to take a hit, and margins are also tight in construction, so profit can swing quite easily.
That's a good point. Yeah. I see.
So that is me, penny stock.
Well, I got another one, obviously.
Yes.
So I was in for 3 today. So my
Would
other
you go
one,
for another penny?
It was another penny I did go for. I
Nice.
thought I'd get another penny. It's very similar. I got 7.5 shares for Foresight Group Holdings. They were 71 pence a share. They're a strong green investment renewable company, basically, but they've just signed a massive defensive contract in the recent past with the UK, investing in renewable energy, infrastructure, and private equity.
Oh, it's funny how we've gone for similar ones.
I know, right? This one we
Yeah.
got close. We got a couple of like really close competitors. Consistent AUM growth and predictable fee income they've got recently listed for themselves, and they're making a 5% dividend yield and trusted year on year. So they're looking like a good company. I mean,
Nice.
I wanted to go for a couple more penny stocks that showed emerging markets, and both this one and the other one were in their first 5 years of growth, which typically after the first 5 years you start to prove a bit more competency by your quarterly earnings and so forth. So you never know, they could do quite well.
All they need is one big project and bosh.
That is
Bob's
the
your
thing.
uncle.
So we'll see if especially the education side of thing, we'll see if the
Yeah, that'd be
UK's
really
recent
interesting.
announcements benefit them.
Precisely.
Should we get to the outro?
Let's do it, mate.
Let's send it.
Rightio. Well, I guess that sums up EP 39.
It does for the YouTubers, but if you want to check out a bit more, you know where to go. Head over to Patreon for
£4 a month.
13p a day. We've got a little bit more on the grey area between
We
balancing
do.
both education and businesses. So if you want to check that out,
we have a nice little segment of trendy.
Oh, we've got a new trendy out
We
today.
do, we
which
do.
actually puts the AI side of things to the test.
It
But I'll say
does.
no more until then. In the meantime, check out Sunday. We've got another Sunday special dropping for you lovely people. Some of our short form content or shorter form content. And in the meantime, you've got the daily shorts heading out on all the socials.
Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share this video everywhere. Go check out our socials as well. And just share the love, people.
Certainly. If you've got any questions, well, this is a really sort of topical point at the moment with uni or business and stuff. If you've got any questions that we haven't answered in the episode, get them in the comments section. We'll respond to every
literally.
single person that comes in. I'm 100% sure of that.
100%.
So let us know what your thoughts are and what you want to see in the future, and we'll promise
That
to
is
deliver.
the question kind of is like, would you rather get into 50k debt or risk it all on a business?
Which
That
are
is
both
literally the question.
Have pros and cons. We don't deny that for a single
Let us know
second.
down below. That'll be really
You've
interesting.
got one guy
to
who
see.
went to uni and one guy who didn't. So
Yeah,
we've got
there
both
we go.
comparables here. In the meantime, we love you. We'll see you soon. All the best. Happy tidings and toodle pip. I almost said the wrong one. Toodle pip.
Did you?